Okay. So, idea 19. Here we are. So, there is solitude in feeling lonely. At least I experience it. Maybe it depends on the type of person, but for what it's worth, it does seem that we all like to stay sad even more than it's worth. And why is that? For me, to feel any type of sadness, even the hollow of depression, it gives me a sense of reality. Like, yeah, this too is life. This too is a feeling to be embraced. This too is a state of being. Even if it is a low vibration, we love bass, 808s, and music. You know what I mean? It's a no-brainer. We lay on our father's chest as a child, as a kid, to listen to the bass of their voice. So naturally, when you're sad and you can't help but feel like you want to stay there, it's not really the sadness you're holding on to. It's the comfort. When you're sad and you don't when you're sad, you don't have to be strong. When you're in low vibrations, you can play victim and feel okay about it. Matter of fact, you might feel okay and you might feel like you deserve it. If you surround yourself around the right people, they'll even feel that victim fire for you. Seems like, with the low vibrations, you can be different or you can be special. Why? Because nobody else could know how I possibly feel. But there is a sense of peace to kicking rocks. And there, you truly feel alive, even if it's painful. When you're laying on the floor fighting your own temptations to harm yourself. It's the struggle to keep your own life, but to see how precious it is. You value your own life so much that even in such low state that you are willing to struggle for your life. So struggle, weep, and cry for that it is your testimony to life. How could one say that they have truly lived if they have not suffered? Now, that's the end of idea 19 that I wrote, but I started writing that whenever I was I clicked on like a random like ambient like music thing, and it like was playing like this guitar thing, and I just I was resonating with the guitar, and I just felt inclined to say that. I think also too, as I don't really like self-proclaim myself as a philosopher or anything like that. I like to think and I like to write out my thoughts. Pretty much that's what it is. I don't think you have to when you get to the point, it's kind of like trying to practice what Marcus Aurelius said, like saying a lot without saying much at all. You know what I mean? Or any great philosopher would say. So I guess for me, I'm really just trying to put that into play. And really work on those. These are ideas, these are thoughts, these are things that I ponder with, and sometimes I have a lot to say. Every day is different. Sometimes I have a lot to say and an idea, and sometimes I don't. I genuinely don't feel like forcing myself to do all that shit. I feel like if you force anything, it just won't be as enjoyable. At least with me personally. That's just how I approach life. That's just my philosophy on it. That's my current 22-year-old self-philosophy on it. So who knows what I might think next year and the year after, but that's just where I'm at on it. And I think living in that state of mind and living in that state of being is also giving yourself peace to live life, to live in different states and be able to be like, yeah, this too is a part of life. You know what I mean? Imagine if I was straight and disciplined my entire life. Would that necessarily mean that I have lived life? You know what I mean? Imagine if you were good your entire life and never did bad things. How would you know that you have lived life? You wouldn't live? You wouldn't have lived the full wholeness of life. So there's that. There's that. That's how I feel about that. And then here we are with idea 18. And it says here, and I wrote, in quote, I was sitting on the edge of my bed, thinking back to the start, the beginning of time. Have you ever sat down and just thought about time and the history of it? the metric that we use to measure out events during the prolonged lore of humanity. And yet, it all started with the best intentions. And yet, I still feel like even if Lucifer didn't mess with God, the idea of pure love and peace still seems somewhat chaotic. Just typing it out, thinking about it gives me the fucking chills. Growing up a church baby, a Mormon, the idea of God and Jesus was plastered as the nicest beings in the whole universe. Now I'm older, I left the church, went rogue, and found God again in my own spiritual faith and journey. And I can say, at least to me, God is a child and a father. Jesus is a brother. Being made in their image, therefore, we always act within our best interest. We always, act in our best interest, even when it causes bad karma. It's crazy. Evolution took a leap. I'm just really sitting here thinking about it. It's crazy that evolution took a leap of faith from monkeys and decided to create humans, just like the fish that took the leap of faith and decided to touch grass. just like the little microorganism that took the leap of faith and let itself go on the rock to flow and evolve within the river into the ocean. Each one of those leaps were necessary to the evolution of life, most importantly of consciousness. It's funny how consciousness isn't tangible, yet it grows, develops, and evolves. It seems like it's never ending, like the galaxy. That's why the idea of the galaxy as a reflection of our minds is fascinating. The universe is quite literally the visual representation of consciousness. So right now, in the day and age of life, we face a lack of meaning. We face depression like never before, and most importantly, more and more people are becoming more spiritual too, in somewhat way. I feel the task we all need to tackle is creating meaning into one's own life. We have to, as a generation, learn how to handle childhood traumas and generational curses. We have to understand how to truly be authentic and to be highest versions of ourselves, to understand true morality and true humility, true humanity. Right now, we are in the day and the age of ego. But if we can collectively step down from it and just look back for a second, let's slow down for a minute. Why? If we don't, bro, I'm telling you, if we don't, I have a feeling that our descendants are going to be doomed and going to be doomed due to a lack of knowledge and preparation. They will be forced to lead a life of a consciousness living and not truly living life for what it's worth, only living it for what they are told it's worth. And that's sad. It's even happening today. They tell you that you need to be, you have to have all this material wealth and need to be worth all these big, things to be worth something. I can't even imagine the damage that will be caused if we don't understand the value of living a fulfilling life to fucking live. At the end of the day. The greatest problem that we have received as humans is consciousness. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. We are still, at the end of the day, animals. But with tackling the problem of consciousness, we receive a gift. The internet is our generation's gift and curse. But if we truly learn how to handle and learn to respect and grow from the problems of the internet, as a generation, we will receive an abundance of gifts, a world of people that even miles apart still treasure the humility and care for the humanity of life. Ooh, that I just looked up at my timer. I don't know. Look, I even wrote that, and that still gave me chills because I. Not in I just wrote about ego. It just said something very sounding very egotistical. But no, that very to myself. That's I just feel so passionate about that. You know what I mean? That's just something I feel so passionate about. Because think about it. if we truly don't start learning how to value, you know, the simple little things in life, and understand how to truly live for your own essence, your own being, your own independence. Who are you? You are exactly who they ask you to be. Not even ask you, they make you to be. They made you to be. They gave you no, they asked for no fucking permission. They just did that. You know what I mean? So like, not even ask. They just did. Sorry, I had to drink some water. Yeah, you were just born. You didn't ask for that. On a soul level, we could talk about that if you want to talk about like my ideas on past life and shit like that. But as far as we know of now, you weren't asked. And yet here you are. Yeah, here you are. So, and yet here they are telling you who to be. It's crazy. It's like these people exploit the whole mystery of life. You know what I mean? You're born to not know who you are, and then you're immediately surrounded by people that are trying to enforce an idea onto you of who you are, an idea and an illusion of who you are and how to live. And therefore you have to go through the struggle of life. And please tell me, and please bro, whoever is listening, like, go through the struggle. Do not be afraid. Do not let them shake you on that fear. And go through the struggle to truly understand what it means to you to live, and not what they tell you what it means to live. You know what I mean? Like, go through that struggle. It's worth it. It's so worth it. I'm going through the struggle now, but every day I'm figuring something out new, and I'm just uncovering more and more, and it's just becoming so beautiful. Like, right now, one of the things that I'm learning right now and like discussing right now is learning about the psychology of women, of femininity, of the immaturity of femininity, and the maturity of femininity, and how different us as men and women, we differently think. And I think as a man, or as a growing man, as a person, as a human, I just felt like saying as a man there, it just felt wrong. So just as a person, it's natural and it's good, and I feel like it's natural and it's going to be good for me to understand the ways of how a female and a woman thinks, to give that respect to the crown. You know what I mean? Like, so and I'm having a blast, like, learning about it. I'm having so much fun. Things are starting to connect and understand more, and it's helping me have better interactions with my day-to-day life with females. So yeah, so get yourself your own understanding of how to live. And I feel like, that's going to be very, very important, especially with how things are nowadays. So we'll go ahead and just I'll go ahead and talk on one more idea that I wrote in the last couple of days. I think this is what idea 17. Yeah, because we died at 1918, so 17. Okay. So 17. There isn't much peace nowadays in the world. We have to create it. Just like the world itself. Nobody knows how to do that. It's not something we were taught, but it is something we were taught to praise and sought after. A king and a prisoner is both a slave to life, to nature, to life, to nature. We are only different through the lenses of perspective. In itself, how we view each other is the line that we have created. The open struggles of the everyday life, we are tasked to find or create meaning to it, just as we created the meaning to peace. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's a lifelong journey, a lifelong task, and the definition of peace for you will change more often than you think. Which, like I said, like, it's going on for me. One day, peace is a fat joint. 10 years later, peace is a soft mint tea by the sea. 20 years later, it's hearing the laughter of children at the local park. And eventually, your definition of peace will be stillness. The definition of peace will be death. So I guess what I'm saying is, when you strive for peace, think about how death must feel like. Don't go sad on me though. That's your horrid perspective on death. Change that, or you will never be able to create your own peace. If you aren't happy with anything in your life, you must change your perspective on it, or toss it out for if you keep it, you're choosing it. That's that's a lesson I'm currently learning. The ability to take the step into the unknown has become a lot more comfortable because of my ability to face the fear of uncertainty. But I spent all year facing that fear. Every day I face it, but every day it's shown to me how divinely protected I am. And soon you will see how divinely protected you are too. Just look at the chaos around you. I mean, the New Age hero quote, I feel. Yeah. Whew. So the New Age hero quote, I feel, is now, it's just a leap of faith. That's coming straight from the Spider-Verse series, but they got that from the original Spider-Man comics. I grew up a Spider-Man fan. My room as a child was plastered with Spidey merch. Even now I have a special little corner for my Spider-Man collection. I saw this to I say this to say that one, the bigger lessons you need to learn in life has always followed you around in life. Just sit down one day and think about the weird connections and patterns in your life and trust your intuition on them. Be a bit naive, tap into that inner child energy. Why? Because your inner child needs to learn the uncertainty isn't scary. In fact, there's so much wonder on the other side we just don't know about. Therefore, do not fear it. And as much as we feel fear in our body, it can only truly be triggered by perspective. Think about that. I'll repeat that. I'm sorry, I have to find it. Yeah. So why? Because the inner child needs to learn the uncertainty isn't scary. In fact, there is so much wonder on the other side we just don't know about. Therefore, do not fear it. And as much as we feel fear in our body, it can only truly be triggered by a perspective. So, like, two people, like, for example, like, two people can, like, jump in the deep end. Like, for example, the example for me and, like, my lady, my SO, like, I fear the cruise. I hate going, like, I hate the ocean. To her, it's like peace. It's to her, it's her home. It's the difference between me and her, and the reason why she's able to find peace and comfort in water is her perspective on the water. The reason why I fear water is my own perspective on the ocean and the cruise and everything. So, that's the only reason why I fear it. It's my perspective on it. So the next time you feel the pull to do something, but you also feel that fear, acknowledge that fear. Acknowledge the fear. Confront the uncertainty, and that will give to you the perspective you need to create and build peace within oneself. So, yeah. That's all I have to, like, really say today. That's cool. Idea 17. Oh, excuse me. It's like 2 o'clock. I don't even know why I'm yawning. But, yeah, that's really, that's much what I have to say today. It's, like, coming up to, like, 20 minutes long, so, but, yeah, just, pondering, think about the things that we talked about, like I always say. And I appreciate you for staying and listening and, being around. I love doing this. This will be a thing that I'm going to be continuously doing without any audience or with the millions of audience. helps me think and helps me get these things out and helps me, just helps. So yeah, hope you're doing okay, hope everything's okay. Feel free to attack and antagonize my thoughts, or to add on, and anything to add to the discussion, honestly. And proactively. So other than that, hope you guys stay safe. Hope you guys continue to love every day, and find the little things to love about every day, and find little things to love about yourself as well. And take care of yourself, take care of the nature around you. And I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.